Everybody who's in a monogamous committed relationship possesses something, and that's that person. So a person is reduced to a possession, an object.
The intensity of your love is measured
Yeah,
by
yeah.
the intensity of how jealous you feel.
What made you write this book in a world which totally looks down upon alternative lifestyles? Why a book? Why not quietly practice your lifestyle and just go about it, and like many people do, not let anyone know about it?
We cannot imagine love as infinite. We feel ki it's like a bowl of rasgullas, you know. If I give you
Yeah.
two, then the next person will get two less. It's not like that. We all know it from our experience. And yet there is this fear. Anybody who's loved across borders of caste, religion, community, country, gender, sexuality has faced not just abuse and discrimination, but in some cases, as we all know, living in this country, have been killed,
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
even by their own parents and their relatives. So love is political. I am more jealous of those people who are my partners, metamors, they are called in the polyamory language, but let's say co-lovers, you know. I am more jealous of the ones जहाँ पे I know I don't share something that they are sharing.
As you said, love is political. So is the unit of family. It's also political, right?
It's all about
Yeah.
finding that one true love. And if you don't find that one true love, you're a loser. And if you find that one true love, then you hold on to it forever. That's the idea. That's the ideal world that is created around you. And I used to find myself a misfit there. Oh, I would be polyamorous. It's beautiful. As long as my partners were not polyamorous.
That's a bit unfair.
As long
That's
as
a
I
bit-
didn't have to deal with jealousy. If you're my partner and you're having a great time with your other partner, I should feel happy. That's the point that we all want to travel to. The queer world and its struggle and movement has given us polyamorous people a lot of hope that things can change if we keep at it. But it's also given us a lot of direction.
A lot of our life choices are determined by how our brains are conditioned, especially through popular culture. And I was a young kid. I used to the images that you see is of a heteronormative world. There is a man, there is a woman, and there are kids. And this is what you grow up with.
If a woman rejected a lover, a boy, and went on with someone else, they will get acid thrown on them, on their face. This was quite rampant when I was growing up. Instead of denouncing, condemning such an act, people would say, हाँ यार, वो तो प्यार में धोखा खा गया इसलिए, you know, like they were jealous, and as if jealousy, this passion was justified in jealousy.
आओ जरा हम चले लॉजिक के नाम पे एक नए आयाम पे विज्ञान के मकाम पे धरती बकाई और आसमान निचोड़ा द फोर्थ डायमेंशन विद संजय राजोरा.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fourth Dimension. Today we are going to discuss a book, and we have the author of the book along with us. And it's going to be a very different kind of a conversation, because the topic that we are discussing is not normally discussed amongst people, maybe sometimes in locker rooms and sometimes with girlfriends, but generally people don't talk about it, forget about writing a book about it. We have with us Arundhati Ghosh, who has come up with this very nice book with lovely colors, and it's called All Our Loves: Journeys with Polyamory in India. Welcome, Arundhati, to our show, and thank you so much for giving us time in spite of these glitches that we are trying to overcome.
Not at all. You guys are the pros. So, and thank you so much, Sanjay, for having me on the show. As you said, this is not discussed much, but then everybody knows that you discuss things that are not discussed much, isn't it?
Yeah, all the things that we discuss now or read about now, there was always a time when they were talked about for the first time, maybe in a hush hush tone. And the first thing I want to tell you, Arundhati, that the fact that you said that we guys are pros, you have already gaslighted us. So we actually are not. We're just trying to find our feet in this space. So let me start with the book, and with the idea of polyamory. The important thing right now is, let us start with the definition, because a lot of people confuse polyamory with polygamy.
Yeah.
And I know they are clearly different.
Yeah.
You being an author of this book, why don't you explain us what is the difference?
Okay. So the difference is in the words amory and gamy. Poly, as we know, means many. Amory is love, and gamy is the alliance of marriage. So, very simply, polygamy would mean all the different kinds of multiple marriages at the same time that is there across communities in the world, etc. But polyamory is relationships between of love between people that are many. Now, the definition of polyamory is interesting because there is no one particular definition. There are as many definitions as there are people. So, what I will share with you is my definition, which I
Sure.
have sort of developed, over the years,
Mhm.
that I define polyamory as the desire, ability, and practice of loving more than one person at a time simultaneously, with or without sexual intimacy, but
Mhm.
with the consent of all. And I emphasize desire, ability, and practice. मुझे लगता है कि ये all three of them must occur together.
Okay. So, I mean, why is it that the society that we live in world over is it actually legitimizes a certain kind of a relationship only, which is a committed monogamous union of a man and a woman. Up to or be now it has expanded to different sexes also, which is a good thing actually.
Yeah.
So, what made you write this book in a world which totally looks down upon alternative lifestyles? Why a book? Why not quietly practice your lifestyle and just go about it, and like many people do, not let anyone know about it?
Yeah, many people actually, once I started writing about polyamory openly, publicly, many people said that, why talk so much about love? Let's quietly just do love. And secondly, that this was always there. People have always been in love with more than one person, actually, whether they've said it or not. So why make such a song and dance about it? And, I would have agreed if love wasn't the reason why so many people are discriminated in the world. Anybody who has loved outside of the majority idea of love, anybody who's loved across borders of caste, religion, community, country, gender, sexuality, has faced not just abuse and discrimination, but in some cases, as we all know, living in this country, have been killed,
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
even by their own parents and their relatives. So, love is political. And I think love that transgresses these boundaries should be talked about, should be written about, should be made visible more and more, so that we know that they exist, that there is a voice that is not silenced. To those who want to understand, they may believe in the majority idea of love, but they might have curiosity or a desire to know कि ये क्या चीज है, how do people like this, different from me, live? That should also be made possible. And I think those who practice it, even those who practice it quietly, should not feel alone, should not
Mhm.
feel that they have no support outside, or
Yeah.
good ke marna hai, that kind of thing. So
Yeah, it's
many
actually,
reasons
I,
for
I
writing the book,
find a lot
Sanjay.
of parallels between, talking about polyamory and initially when homosexuality was out in the open, and it challenged the conventional ways of
Yes.
two human beings coming together, and the way it came as a surprise and for some people as a cultural shock, for some people as a threat. But the more people talked about it, the more people wrote about it, it was normalized, and now gradually hopefully it is being accepted as a way of life. And I'm glad that the discussions on polyamory have started. Your book is a very important part of it. And but do you think there are political and economic reasons for societies and state to prefer monogamous committed union of marriage which results in a family unit? Because family, as you said, love is political, so is the unit of family, it's also political, right? So what what is the state's investment
Yeah.
in that kind of union? And because I'm pretty sure that while you practice polyamory in your life and you wrote this book, there you must have faced a lot of opposition, ostracization, and all kinds of remarks and everything. And I don't think our state also is any different. So why is state so invested in committed monogamous unions which result in a family?
I think any uh, body that wants to control our
Mhm.
lives is afraid of polyamory. And here I would say state, patriarchy, and religion. So I see these three,
Yeah.
it's like a triad of evil, you know. These three
Mhm.
creates the system of family, the system of heteronormative monogamous family. Now, the moment heteronormativity or monogamy of the family system is challenged, all these three bodies
Yeah.
that try to control our lives get very afraid.
Absolutely.
State, religion, as well as patriarchy. And
Mhm.
we clearly know why that is, right? Because you
Mhm.
have no sexual control over women then. You have no boundaries. People can express the
Mhm.
desire exactly the way they want to. The state can't have documented
Yep.
surveillance of documented relationships. The
Mhm.
state's entire business is in surveillance, right? In knowing
Mhm.
what its citizen is doing when. So the family idea gives them the heteronormative, monogamous family idea,
And also,
gives them a
then
blueprint of that
one
map.
size of
Now
surveillance
that,
fits all
yeah,
kind of a thing. So they, yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
And everybody is expected to behave in that same manner.
Mhm.
So, hum do, hamare do. That's it. And then that's a very easily surveyable kind of
Yeah.
unit that you have in front of you. And obviously, you understand why patriarchy is so bothered, right, with polyamory, because suddenly there is no control
Mhm.
of the body, mind, desire of women. And how is patriarchy
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
even function? It'll just fall apart, right? And that's the reason that we still don't have. I mean, heteronormativity and monogamy both are, systems of control. So that's why you see so much angst the moment we talk about marriage equality or
Mhm.
marriage of queer people, and we still
Mhm.
can't accept it while it's normalized, like you said. And that was a very good example, because polyamory right now is probably where the queer world and
Absolutely.
the queer
Yeah.
movement was
Mhm.
20 years ago. It's just coming out. So we have a long way to catch up. But actually, the queer world and its struggle and movement has given us polyamorous people
Mhm.
a lot of hope that things can change if we keep at it. But it's also given us a lot of direction that this has to be fought at
Mhm.
multiple levels, not just at personal family levels, but
Yeah.
also at
Yeah.
legal
So
and political
it's
levels
interesting
as
that
well.
you talked about patriarchal control on a woman's sexuality. Uh, do you think that looking at it from that lens, polyamory becomes an integral part of the 21st century feminist movement?
See,
Yeah,
I
that's what
would
I
say
wanted to
so.
know.
I would say that it is a very integral part of the feminist movement, uh, or should be. But I do not want to define this as, if there are
Mhm.
feminists who are monoamorous or who would like to or choose to be in love with one person at a time, even if it is serially, then so be it. That is their choice, because end of the day, the idea of polyamory, though intellectually, politically, can be very welcoming, and feminists do welcome it in many ways. There is also the
Mhm.
aspect of actually practicing it, and whether you want to, whether you're able to, whether your emotional wherewithal allows you to. Because it takes a lot of work on yourself
Yeah.
to decondition
Yeah.
yourself from the
Yeah.
trappings of the mono world. And people may not
Mhm.
want to, feminists may not want to do that. Two, there are enough cis heterosexual men pretending to be polyamorous, but all that they are doing is
Yeah,
abusing
that's
women in the
what I
name
was
of
about to ask.
polyamory.
Yeah.
So that's also there. That's a danger. Yeah. And thirdly, even those feminists who feel that this is integral may not be comfortable, happy, joyous practicing it. So, to each their own. I wouldn't say that, I mean, it'll be wrong to think of polyamory necessarily as something without
So
which
it's just another
feminism
lifestyle.
can't
Some people
function.
may choose to practice it. Some people may choose to live by that, while others may choose
Yes.
something else.
Yeah.
And but one thing that I often ask myself that, as you said just now, that and people may not be happy to choose this kind of lifestyle. You use the word feminist. I would refrain from using that word, but because I it's a generic thing that I want to say. Is it people are scared of this kind of a living arrangement? Is it because of their conditioning? Is it because of human biology? Or uh, is it just that they are just there is this one red line that they wouldn't cross? Because I personally think that uh, we may talk about in a very leftist worldview of not having possessions, to be very generic, right? But everybody who's in a monogamous committed relationship possesses something, and that's that person. So a person is reduced to a possession, an object, right? So is that a red line that we as human civilization, we have not been able to cross because of our conditioning, or our fear, or our biology? Because some people are polyamorous, clearly shows that the biology is not wired that way. And you must have heard many people say that penguins are monogamous and human beings are monogamous.
But they are not actually. More recent studies, and it's mentioned in my book, in more recent studies, you see that the idea that penguins are monogamous are more of a
Mhm.
ecological factor than actually them being monogamous, and they also change partners. So, Sanjay, you've asked a question that itself can lead to a whole book. It's
Do
a
I get a
huge,
credit in that
huge
book?
question
I
in
should get
this.
some credit, huh?
So let me I
Yep.
th- I think we should write that book together, Sanjay. But let
Mhm.
me divide that question up into two parts. The first part, you say that why do we not practice it, even if we? Now, the thing with politics is that we are all out there to change the world, but we never think that we ourselves might need some changing. So, in a way, for many of us, politics stops at the door of our home, or even if it enters the living room, the drawing room, even the kitchen.
Yeah.
Bedroom is a complete no-no. At the threshold
Mhm.
of the bedroom, you have to leave all your politics behind. And therefore, you can understand why, though we talk about diversity, we live in a polyphonic universe. We quote John Berger saying that let not a single story be told as if it is the only one. We go on protests when the idea of one nation, one language, one religion, one leader is thrust upon us.
Yeah.
We are waging a war against one, the idea of one, right? But when it comes to our own lives, our own loves, our own sexuality, our own desires, we want to be
Yeah.
very safe and concentrate on just the one. So I think it is I would say that it's a one needs to look and explore our hearts a little more, that if our politics is against this idea of one, why do in the matter of love, romance, desire, sexuality, why have we become so mono and so afraid of moving outside of it? So nobody will ask a mother that, how can you love four kids? Do you love them equally? Do you love one more? Oh, it's not possible. How do you get the time? However, the moment it is to do with a romantic or sexual partner,
Mhm.
you get asked all these questions. A mother doesn't. It's obvious that a mother doesn't, right? But so that's one of the, whether it is biology, conditioning, circumstances, the answer is, the
Mhm.
jury is out on that. It could be any of these. But let me concentrate on the difficulties. Some of my friends have said that, oh, I would be polyamorous, it's beautiful. As long as my partners were not
That's a bit
polyamorous.
unfair.
As long
That's
as
a
I
bit.
didn't have to deal with jealousy. As long as I, yeah, of course it is not fair and it doesn't work like that, right? So I think people see jealousy, possessiveness, how will I handle uh, my partner having other partners? I will feel abandoned. Will I be replaced? I think there is too many insecurities, insufficiencies in us. I don't think the reasons are outside as much as they are inside of us, you know. So in jealousy, for example, I'll give you an example. Jealousy is an emotion that often comes out of an insecurity or fear that is embedded in us of being left out, of being abandoned, of being replaced. We can't imagine the heart as a place which can hold many chairs. In our mind, the heart is a place that has only one chair. और उस पे कोई बैठा है तो आपका जगह नहीं है. You know, you don't have a space. We cannot imagine love as infinite. We feel कि it's like a bowl of rasgullas, you know. If I give you
Yeah.
two, then the next person will get two less. It's not like that. We all know it from our experience. And yet there is this fear, this insecurity. So I think these are the many, many reasons.
Yeah.
Social stigmas, of course. But there are many reasons why people don't want to break the, as I say,
Yeah.
the
I know what you're saying.
monocage.
But that brings me to the question that it's quite clear from how you perceive the entire lifestyle. You are definitely not a jealous person. But how do you deal with? Uh, oh well,
Oh, of course I am,
please explain
Sanjay.
that.
I
Please
am.
explain.
The point is, the point is that jealousy or loneliness, for example, we have to accept that as feelings that we will have. They are natural feelings.
It's what
The
you do
point
with
is,
those feelings.
how do you
Yeah.
deal with
Yeah.
it? What do you do with it?
Mhm.
You keep it, you jello it, you accept it, you live through it. But what you do not do is you do not blame your partner for it. You take
Yeah.
the responsibility of the feeling yourself. You discuss it with your partner. Your partner sometimes, if they want to, help you understand it better. So I'll give you an example. You know, I am more jealous of those people who are my partner's partners, metamors, they are called in the polyamory language, but let's say co-lovers, you know. I am more jealous of the ones जहाँ पे I know I don't share something that they are sharing. So, for example, I don't ride a bike. I'm not an academic. I don't play sports. So, let's take these three. Those partners of my partners who share those things with them, I tend to get more jealous because वहाँ पे मेरा insecurity काम कर जाता है, you know, कि oh, they are having so much fun together. There's so much closeness there. But if I actually take that feeling and lay it bare, I will see that it has nothing to do with what my partner is doing actually. What it has to do is with my own security about how I feel about it. And once I accept it, once I work on it, slowly, so of course, I said I'm jealous, but I am like 1/10 the person, jealous person that I was 10 years ago. For that, I've had to work on myself, and I hope one day I'll reach a place that all polyamorous people want to reach, which is called compersion, which is the opposite of jealousy, you know. So if you're my partner and you're having a great time with your other partner, I should feel happy. That's the point that we all want to travel to. I'm somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, it's a
but I'm
it's a
progressing.
difficult thing
I'm
for
getting
most
there.
people to achieve because and I this is what I wanted to ask you because a lot of our life choices are determined by how our brains are conditioned, especially through popular culture and like cinema or magazines,
Yeah.
newspapers. Like
A
I
lot
see
of cinema.
when I
Yeah.
was a young kid, I used to
Yeah.
the images that you see is of a heteronormative world. There is a man, there is a woman, and there are kids, and this
Yeah.
is what you grow up with. So it's quite natural then that you grow up with a heteronormative worldview. You call yourself a heterosexual. It's later on in the life, if you
Yeah.
examine things, that you realize that it's a spectrum and you are somewhere in between. So in your case, I'm pretty sure the same popular culture symbols were influencing you while you were growing up. Okay, and and I'm assuming this, that when you were younger, you were in your 20s, you also had this idea of a relationship, one man, marriage, family, then go through life and die with the same person, not with the same person around.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Not really, Sanjay, and I think that's when I started realizing that I was slightly
Mhm.
different. I never felt that way. But because all films around me, all the songs that one heard about love, everything reconfirms not just the heteronormative idea, but also the mono idea, right? Ki, it's all about
Yeah.
finding that one true love. And if you don't
Mhm.
find that one true love, you're a loser. And if you find that
Mhm.
one true love, then you hold on to it forever. That's the idea.
Mhm.
That's the ideal world that is created around you. And I used to find myself a misfit there. But initially, for many, many years, I felt, and most people later I realized that most polyamorous people feel this way. They feel shallow. They feel कि मैं ही freak हूँ.
Yeah.
Queer people also go through
Yeah.
that I'm abnormal. There's something wrong with me. I
Mhm.
can't keep relationships because at that time, you don't have either the concept or the
Yeah.
language to explain to yourself who you are. And therefore, what do you do when you fall in love
Yeah.
again? You either cheat
Yeah.
or you end one relationship and you begin another. But you end
Yeah.
a relationship where there is still love. So you cut it short because, oh, I've fallen in love with another person,
Mhm.
then it must be that the first one is
Yeah.
over. It gets deterministic like that. So, in a lot of ways, when I was growing up, um, I was finding it really hard to accept that this is the world
Mhm.
around me and I don't fit in there. But, and I mentioned this in the book, a huge, almost like a light bulb went up in my life when I first heard Ghalib Saab's
Yeah.
हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी की हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले
फिर भी
बहुत
कम
निकले
निकले.
मेरे अरमान लेकिन फिर भी कम निकले. I felt that these two lines, that if a poet somewhere many many years ago could write these two lines, and I feel that yes, this is who I am,
Yeah.
then there must be something right about it. And I think that was the moment something changed. And I started reading, looking out, friends helped, read books, met people. And since there, it
Mhm.
has been quite a journey. But I'll give you one example of how you mentioned popular culture
Yeah.
creates these definitions for us. Okay. And we talked about jealousy just before this. Popular culture,
Yeah.
the way Hindi films, let's just
Yeah.
stick to Hindi films because it's a huge influence in our lives, right? They not only say
Yeah.
that to be jealous is a good thing, your the intensity of your love is measured
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
the intensity of how jealous you
Yeah.
feel. So
Yeah.
actually, your boyfriend or girlfriend, if you're not
Yeah.
jealous,
Yeah.
they
I've
will
heard
tell
that.
you
I've
ki
heard
you
that.
don't
Yeah.
love me, you're not jealous. I have heard that. Yes. So this is how it's framed. If you see, when I was growing up, there was this crime that had become so rampant in Bengal that if a
Mhm.
woman rejected a lover, a boy, and went on with someone else,
Mhm.
they will
Mhm.
get acid thrown on them,
Mhm.
on their face.
Mhm.
This was quite rampant when I was growing up. And I realized how people would, instead of denouncing, condemning such an act, people would say, हाँ यार वो तो प्यार
Mhm.
में धोखा खा गया इसलिए, like they were you know they were jealous, and as if
Yeah.
jealousy, this
Yeah.
passion was justified in jealousy. So I used to feel very scared of this whole jealous thing,
Mhm.
that
And one
gosh, this is what it
important thing
can
you
do,
also mentioned here, that sometimes it's, and I'm pretty sure that our friends and colleagues and a lot of people in our life, when they came out as homosexuals, they must have
Mhm.
faced this barrage
Mhm.
of uh, derogatory adjectives with which they were addressed. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that if somebody who's always into a polyamorous lifestyle, when that person comes out, I'm pretty sure one of the slurs that would have thrown uh, their way would be that you are a sex freak. But interestingly, in the beginning of the discussion, you mentioned loving more than one person with or without sex. So, can you please explain to me? Before that happens, I want to just tell all the viewers here, please buy this book and read this and have conversations amongst your
Thank
friends.
you.
This will answer many of your questions and and better still, it will raise a lot of questions in your mind. How do you
Thank you.
in romantic love, how do you love someone without sex? I mean, do you set down the rules that yeah, this is a platonic kind of a thing, or it's romantic but without sex? How do you isn't it making it more complicated?
Yeah, it is. It is complicated. But to
Mhm.
begin with, there are people who are asexual. To begin with, we must acknowledge that there are
Mm.
people who do not feel need for
Right.
sexual intimacy or do not have sexual
Mhm.
desire. So, there are people like that. Secondly, among people who do have sexual desire, you may have great love for somebody but not have a need or a desire
Mhm.
for sexual intimacy from that person. So I would say that if you're looking at love holistically, there is physical attraction, there's emotional intimacy, there's intellectual intimacy, there is today there
There
has
have
to
to
be
be
political. It's very important
there have to be
political,
sports
connection
and
and
bikes
intimacy,
also. Yeah.
and there is sexual intimacy. Yeah,
Yeah.
not so much for me. So, uh, so sexual intimacy is
Yeah.
only one of the ingredients in the mix. Sometimes it is there, sometimes it is not there. Again, sexual intimacy, and I'm realizing this as I'm growing older, is sexuality, sexual intimacy is also a function of
Mhm.
ability. We keep forgetting that it's something that is different for different people.
At different
It is
stages in
not the
life. Yeah.
same for
Yeah.
everybody. And at different stages, but also people
Mhm.
who have different inclinations. So, what is a sexual activity for you may be very
Mhm.
different from what is a sexual activity for me. To map it into what we normally see in the
Mhm.
typical patriarchal porn is
Mhm.
only one kind of very very
Mhm.
heterosexual normative kind of sex. So there are, even to see sexuality as different, as vibrantly different from each other is important. Having said that, there are so many relationships of deep love and intimacy and romanticism where sexuality doesn't play a role. It could be, and the reasons could be because you don't feel like that towards that person. It could be because they are so far away that all your life
Mhm.
you will probably just meet once or twice, and you will live continents apart, and you may not ever meet, and sexuality or desire might just play out in fantasies and not in real life. So there are so many reasons. But having said that, in the polyamory world, I realize there are so many people who are asexual, they can be even aromantic, but there is deep love, care, connection between them. And they don't say things like, we are just friends. I have a I'm very troubled by this word just. I realized, in the polyamory world that there are so many people who are asexual, some are even aromantic, and relationships of love and friendship is possible with all of these variations, combinations, and not to imagine one thing more than the other. One of the problems with the typical heteronormative monoamorous life
Yeah.
is that we put the couple on top. And with that, it's like the couple's
Mhm.
relationship is more important than any other relationship they have. Friendships, relationships with parents, siblings, all kinds of other relationships take a step down, and the
Yeah.
couple's romantic sexual relationship takes a step up automatically.
Yeah.
Without, it's almost like that's how it's supposed to be. And many of us have issues with that because we don't
Mhm.
feel friendships are just friendships, because it's not any lower than
Absolutely.
a
Absolutely.
relationship of romantic love, for example. It can be as intense, it can be as committed,
Yeah.
it can be as full of care and concern. um yeah, so I think the idea of polyamory also is to be able to keep ourselves and our imaginations open to the many, many lives that love can have. And not to restrict it, not to bind it, not to draw lines around it, constantly diminishing
Because
what
you
it
are right.
can
The
be
way
in our lives.
heteronormative couples are put on a pedestal in a social context,
Yeah,
sometimes it really irritates me, because
yeah,
as you said, two friends can be very close. Two friends, whether irrespective of their sexes and how they identify themselves, they can be very close, very tight, and be there for each other. So in that sense, I would say that this idea of romantic freedom uh, is also a part of the whole fight for freedom that we have been fighting for. It's a radical idea,
yeah,
and we are
of
all
course.
fighting for radical freedoms only, right? When we go to places like Jantar Mantar or anywhere
Yeah,
in Delhi, and we नारे बाजी
yeah,
लगाते हैं, we want azadi. So one of the azadi should be freedom from this heteronormative accepted view of human connections in our society. But one thing I want to ask, because not everybody in this world is a nice or an honest person. And as you said
yeah,
earlier, I'm sure there must be men and women both. But I'm talking about, let's talk about men.
yeah,
That they may claim that they are polyamorous, uh, but actually they are not capable of loving many people at
yeah,
the same time, and do justice to the entire concept of polyamory, and do justice to each and every
yeah,
individual.
yeah,
How do you deal
yeah,
with
yeah,
such men? How do you identify them, first of all?
yeah, yeah. I have seen, Sanjay, that people, men who are unable to honestly do practice polyamory, and like you said, they are unable to love more than one person,
Yeah,
often do not even love one person. We know so many people in monoamorous relationships, monogamous relationships, who are not honest
yeah,
about the love and do not really love. What they are, playing out is other relationships of convenience, but not love. So that is quite common in
Mhm.
the genuineness of love is something that has to be understood
Yeah,
in all relationships, mono and poly. In poly, it gets tougher because what happens is, and this, I got to know about this when I started writing about polyamory. A lot of people reached out to me saying, "Hey, you're writing about polyamory, but this happened to me, that happened to me." And these were stories of people who were using the word polyamory as a progressive, more
yeah,
modern way of being. And essentially, what they
yeah.
were doing was all they wanted to do was sleep
Mhm.
around. Now, there's nothing wrong with sleeping around.
Who are we to
I
judge?
have
Yeah,
no
yeah.
judgment towards it. There are people. Anyway, it's a wonderful thing if that's what gives you
Mhm.
energy. But at least be
Mhm.
honest about it. Say that that's what you want. But what would happen is they would make the pretense of love
Okay.
just to be able to have sex, and that created this thing that, oh, so this is what polyamory is about, and which did
Yeah,
a lot of disservice to polyamorous people, I feel, because these are dangerous people. They
yeah.
don't care about you, they are not concerned about you. All they want is
Yeah, it's
like an
always
extractive kind of relationship,
it's a very important thing that you said, that it did a lot of damage to the whole lifestyle, the idea of this lifestyle, or the image of this lifestyle,
Yeah,
because it's always what I have realized in my life, that
yeah,
every movement is damaged by these black sheeps. Like
yeah, yeah,
even the feminist movement was dented because of some women who did not uh, you know uh, eh, I don't know what words to use, but who actually misused
mm,
the movement.
yeah. Mm. We see that in
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
laws against dowry as well, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if there
yeah,
are three women among 100
Yeah.
who have misused it, and the 97 have actually really
Those
faced
three become the
dowry
representative even.
harassment and
Yeah, yeah.
complaint, the world will remember those three. The world will say, "Nahi, nahi, nahi." You know, most people, oh yeah, that these are very bad laws because
Even the
they are
judiciary
unfair.
is
Look,
saying
those
that,
three women
and
used
the
it.
important thing is that out of 100
Yeah,
cases,
yeah,
97 cases are true, and these three bad apples do not represent, they are just exceptions, they are
exactly.
not a rule.
Yeah,
And to focus on those
yeah,
exceptions
yeah,
is not an honest intention to clear the picture right now. So
yeah,
another thing I wanted to
yeah.
know.
So Sanjay, in the book, I felt that I must have a separate chapter,
Mhm,
and that's why there is a red flags chapter where
mhm,
I mention a few instances of how it may be a dangerous situation or a bad situation. I analyze it, and then at the end of the chapter, I put together a list according to
mhm,
me and some of my polyamorous friends that these are the signs. If so, I'll
mhm.
mention a
Yeah.
couple of them so you have a sense of what they are. So, for example, if you have a sign that initially when you get into a relationship, suppose you and I get into a relationship, there are some boundaries
Yeah.
that we draw from
Mhm,
each other, right? There are certain permissions that so let me say I say okay,
mhm,
we decide to live in the same house, and I say okay, but you can't bring
mhm,
any of your other partners to this house.
mhm,
See, that's something we both have accepted. Now I travel, and I realize whenever I'm traveling, you do bring some partner home, and without my knowledge, or even if I found out, you
mhm,
say, "Oh, but we are polyamorous, so what's the point?" I think if there is any breaking of agreements or consent that
mhm.
has been arrived at
Yeah.
without a discussion, that's a sign.
Right.
That's a flag. That's a red flag.
Mhm,
If there is gaslighting, that, oh no, no, no,
mhm,
that's not how you're feeling, actually you're feeling
mhm,
like this, or it's a wrong way
mhm.
to feel, or there's shaming. These are some
Yeah.
of the signals that we must pick up as something that is not quite right. And if we are in a if we
Mhm,
feel, we believe we are in a polyamorous relationship, then we must discuss it a little more, that hey, why is this
mhm.
condition or this term or this agreement being broken? um, so I think these are some of the
Mhm.
things one has to be very aware
But
of,
it's
and
also
not fall
very
into
easy
these
for someone
traps.
who does not openly subscribe to polyamory to come up with an argument that this creates a lot of social chaos, you know uh, because essentially you do not know uh, whose kid is this one. These things, because in the functioning of society and state, the lineage is very very important. Who inherits the property, and where do all the family jewels go and stuff like that. And also, I mean, people also,
Of
like
course.
polyamorous couples also cohabit. I shouldn't use the word couples. Let people like you
Yeah.
come up.
No, there are couples, there are
So they,
people
they
who have
also
parallel
cohabit.
relationships, so
They
that's fine. Yeah.
do all the duties. They distribute it amongst themselves. And for the rest of the world, they are confused. For them it becomes very chaotic. And when someone comes up to you and says that you are disrupting a social order, you are creating chaos, how do you respond to that?
Okay. So one question I have to all monogamous people is, are you really sure whose kid it is? It's a provocative question, I know.
Well, you have
But
written an
I really
entire
want to
book on
know that how do you
provocation,
know?
okay? So you need not worry about what.
So, there was this conversation that now
Mhm.
that one can have paternity tests, we will see more and more of that when it comes to really big business, big money,
It
big,
happened in
big
Gujarat.
heirlooms, being
97%
handed
of
over.
men failed paternity tests.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Gujarat
Acha, I didn't
is.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so talk about chaos, right? Talk about chaos. And Yeah. So what happens when somebody says that you're disrupting a social order? I think the response that most of us feel we have is that all we are saying is that let multiple social orders coexist, cohabit next to each other. Just like we want people from multiple cultures, multiple communities, multiple languages, multiple regions, religions cohabit to give this tapestry of life excitement, variety. We gain from each other, we share each other's treasures. Let
Yeah.
social order also be different. So this is not chaos. This is just a different social order. And I realize that nobody will believe me, right? Who am I? So that's why the first chapter in the book is to find that there were so many communities around the world. Sanjay, I cannot tell you how exciting that research was. I went out looking for non-monogamous communities. I found so many that finally I had to say, like, isi ke upar to there can be a separate book on that. So I chose only a few from different cultures to say that this monogamous heteronormative family unit that we now see is one fraction
That exists.
of the many possibilities that were there. They are not possibilities of the future. These, I'm talking about the past, that these communities and cultures practiced different ways of living together, of man, 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 woman, woman,
Yeah.
woman, kids in communities where sometimes a child would have multiple fathers because anybody that the mother have had intimacies with during the time before her childbirth were considered secondary fathers,
Yeah.
so that the tribe didn't fight with each other, and there are so many different ways. So I think colonization, capitalism, patriarchy, Christianity, there are many things that have led to and I mean, I'm not a scholar, I've just understood this from studies that other scholars have done, has led to this very, very I would say it's a conjuice order.
Yeah.
It's a
Not
very
willing to give. Yeah.
sad order of monogamy. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
and
kind of monogamy that you see today. But if that's
yeah, to
what
me,
makes
yeah,
people
yeah,
happy,
yeah.
so be it.
No, I think that
Let there
this
be
is
happiness for all.
this is a radical idea. Initially when I asked you that this should be an integral part of 21st century feminist movement. Of course, I do not have lived experiences as a woman, but whatever my understanding is,
Yeah.
if you look at Indian society, so most of the abuses directed towards a guy are actually implying that your mother has slept with multiple men. Okay, so when
Yeah.
that aspect
Yeah.
of a woman's
Yeah.
sexuality is normalized and becomes a normal lifestyle, all these abuses they lose their meaning or insult and potency. Yeah,
Potency completely.
it is just gone.
उनका
There might
toxicity
be
खत्म बस.
people
Yeah.
coming out and saying,
Yeah.
"I'm proud of my mother. I have like 6 dads." Right now, it has become an abuse.
Yeah.
So
So the first book that I read, I think it perhaps is the first book that has been written on
yeah, I've
polyamory,
read it.
is called
Yeah.
The Ethical Slut. So it was
Yeah.
so it reclaims the word
Yeah,
slut
yeah.
as a way of being and
Yeah,
not
and
as
there is a
as
prefix
a
there,
abuse.
ethical. So that's very important. And most of the
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
who preach monogamy, commitment, and that sacred family unit are not ethical. That's a different story altogether.
Yeah, that's a different story altogether. I mean, we'll have to get into. I mean, somebody was telling me that recently I was chatting and they have turned polyamorous, like they've chosen polyamory after many years of living as a couple, as a monogamous couple. And so I was asking them, they're older than me, they're slightly older than me. So I was asking them, Ki, what made you do that now, and both of them looked at each other, laughed a
Yeah.
lot, and they're a very, very affectionate couple, and said that we can't handle the cheating anymore. मैं भूल जाता हूँ. Earlier, I used to at least remember the lies. But
Yeah.
now I'm growing old, I'll keep forgetting that I have, what is the lie that I have said.
Yeah.
So tired of cheating. That's why. And both the partners have opened up to
Mhm.
polyamory. I mean,
Now
they were
it's out there in
always
the open.
polyamorous,
Yeah.
but they didn't.
Let's
Now,
go to
now
the
it's out
lighter
there.
side of it.
Yeah.
For example, in a polyamorous situation, if you break up with one person, it there are always others to give you shoulder. How does that
Yeah.
dynamic work? Huh.
No. It's very complicated, Sanjay. It's more complicated because in
Hmm.
there are parallel polyamories, of course, which means that I can have a relationship with you,
Hmm.
I have another relationship with somebody or whatever.
Yes.
And you all don't know each other, you
Not
all don't
necessarily. Yeah.
have anything to
Mhm.
do with each other. That is fine because
Mhm.
if in that I break up with one, then there are others. But you can't really cry on anybody's
Mhm.
shoulder because there are sensitivities there. Because what will you share? What do you have consent for or permission for sharing? All of that is there. But what becomes really complicated is if your partners also like each other or
Mhm.
if they have relationships
Mhm.
also. So if you are in a triad, say three people are in a relationship with each other, they all three of them love each other, care for each other. There may be romantic
Mhm.
or even sexual intimacies with each other. Then when one
Yeah.
person breaks off with
The
one
equation
of
is
them,
disturbed. Yeah.
suddenly becomes more complicated and
Well,
very
if you
difficult.
if you
Yeah. Yeah.
choose
So
all kinds of roses, you have to choose all kinds of thorns also. So it's it's a package.
absolutely, absolutely. And I will say roses are much more than thorns in this. Yeah, monoamory is really, really difficult and hard and has more thorns. I feel sometimes because what monoamory does is it throws you into this pool of water and like in a very turbulent like river and takes away your boat, like takes away your life. Now says now you do it on your own. It's I think it's much more harder, more impractical. I don't know. And the problems are the same. Like even in monoamory, people are facing
Mhm.
jealousy, people are facing isolation, loneliness. You talk about my friends who are married tell me and who are monogamous tell me that one of the worst places, like one of the loneliest feeling is to go to bed with the
Yeah.
same person day after day for 17
Yeah,
years and still feel
Gulzar
lonely.
Gulzar Saab has written about
So,
it. ये दुनिया है भरी भीड़ में खाली तन्हाइयों की. So it's one thing to be lonely when you are
so see,
actually
yeah,
physically lonely, but when you are with people, with someone, and still you feel lonely, that's even more, it's more pathetic. And you do realize that after this,
yeah,
after we publish this,
yeah,
both of us are going to get a lot of, hate that, yeah, that we are
hate mail.
desecrating Indian culture and Indian values. And well, actually, and because you have done research, you would know that polyamory is nothing new to Indian culture. It has been practiced. It is there in our
Yeah,
historical texts, mythological texts. So
yeah,
this is not something new that we have gadda khoda and
yes,
we have picked it up from ground zero. So is how uh,
yeah.
how has your life changed after this book? How have I mean, this is coming from the fact that we will get a lot of hate comments. So how?
Hey, come on, Sanjay. We'll get a lot of love also. Let's think positively, na?
Well,
You and
let's
I
see
will get a
कौन
lot
जीतता
of love also.
है. Yeah.
हाँ कौन जीतता है हाँ मेरे हिसाब में तो लव ऑलवेज जीतता है सो
Awesome.
आई एम वेरी पॉजिटिव एंड ऑप्टिमिस्टिक दैट वे ओके अच्छा बाय द वे टॉकिंग अबाउट आवर Puranas and our like scriptures,
Mm-hmm.
Brihaspati's wife Tara.
Mm-hmm.
Brihaspati was the sage of the gods. His wife Tara decided to go
Mm-hmm.
and stay with Chandra for some days
Mm-hmm.
and then had a son with Chandra. And then she wanted to come back to Brihaspati and said that, hey, look, I
Mm-hmm.
have this son now, but I want to stay with the son. Can I come back and stay with you? And he
Yeah.
said, okay. And they went on living.
Yeah.
Where Chandra was the father of this boy that Brihaspati and Tara were bringing up. And it was all cool. The
Yeah.
point
Yeah.
is, it was all cool. This could happen.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many
Mm-hmm.
instances in our Puranas, in our stories about our
Yeah.
sages,
Yeah.
where women had the agency to walk out of one thing, go have a
Yeah.
relationship,
Our
come back,
historical
love
texts,
more than one
mythological texts
person.
they have
All of
many such examples. So how much love are
yeah,
you getting
yeah.
after this book, and how much hate are you getting? Mm.
Okay, let me first talk about the hate so that I can when I started writing about polyamory publicly, I got and it was also, so I don't know which part. So it was also the time that many of us, you, me, and so many of our friends were also politically super active, right? It was the time post 2014 when Kashmir happened, the CAA happened, and the anti-CAA movements happened. So the Not in My Name happened. There were a whole series of political things happening, and all of us were very involved on the street, right, in our own cities, mobilizing people, putting out protests. And on the other hand, I was writing. So if you saw my social media, there were two kinds of writing. One was this, and the other was polyamory, hashtag polyamory. And I was getting a lot of hate. And one of the fun things I would do with that hate, so messages, people would send me dick pics, like all kinds of things, call me names. Um, uh, Paki loving, call me bitch
Doesn't
was
make any
one, for
sense, you know.
example. Just like, yeah, but just like that, like khudkushi type, huh? So I used to try and segregate the hate into, okay, this is because of polyamory and this is because of my Sanghi Bhaiyo kind of thing, you know. After the book, predictably, there are messages from men wanting to know if I would help them in their single lonely lives. And there are deep descriptions about how I could help them. So they're really funny. They're really funny. Sometimes, Sanjay, I really feel like writing back saying, यार लड़की को ऐसे मत लिखो, यार ऐसे लिखो, आओ मैं दिखाता हूँ तुमको कैसे लिखना चाहिए, ऐसे लिखोगे तो थोड़ा शायद you will get response also. So actually it doesn't anger me, you know. It used to initially. I'm filled with a lot of sadness because I feel at least 80% of the messages of hate are coming out of fear, coming out of an inability to understand their own desire, coming out of an inability of not having ever learned how to express desire in a manner that is positive. You know, that's not what men are taught in this country, unfortunately. Women somehow learn, but men, that's why I feel men probably suffer patriarchy much more than women. Like they turn out to be like quite destructive to themselves, you know. So I feel sad so there's been this kind of hate. On the other hand, which is really wonderful, so many people across age groups have reached out, sharing stories from their lives. These are not people who say they lead polyamorous lives. No, they lead what you would call normal, queer or heterosexual, both, but mono lives. But they have opened up saying that, oh, you know, I'm thinking after reading the book, maybe there are bits of polyamory in me also. So there is a part of the book which says that suppose you figure that you are polyamorous at heart, but you choose to lead a monoamorous life with one partner. That is also a choice. So I get a lot of messages where people are saying, I have decided to live with this person and to be true and honest to this person and loyal and not have a relationship with anyone else. But I think at heart I'm polyamorous, and these are some of my stories. And there are also people who want to now go with the curiosity and explore more. And I'm very excited about that because I feel
You have opened the floodgates.
और क्या है
Let's
जीने
put
में,
it
you
this
know,
way.
I
So
hope
it
so.
also, you know,
I hope so. Yeah.
The conventional definition of, loyalty and cheating, polyamory also changes that. Because I personally feel that cheating and
Yeah.
disloyalty, so
Yes.
let us keep disloyalty aside for a while, for the moment. Let us focus on cheating.
Yeah.
Cheating, the way it has been defined and the way we have grown up, the definition that we have grown up with, majority of its
Yeah.
value comes from the popular culture, as I said earlier. So even if you don't do
Correct.
anything physically and you think about some other
Yeah.
person
Yeah.
sexually or in a romantic way,
Yeah.
you are actually cheating. This is what the conventional definition of cheating is,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
polyamory destroys all these constructs. So you do
Yeah.
are you in the process of, I'm sorry, process of coming up with new definitions for cheating and disloyalty?
Yeah, you know, so it is so one of the problems I had with Monamari when I was initially, जो मुझे बहुत घटता था, I couldn't understand if you take loyalty, trust,
Yeah.
fidelity. Let's take these three words that are used a lot in Monoamari. Okay. And I'm also saying Monoamari,
Yeah.
Sanjay, for the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
reason we began with the Gami and Amari, right? So I'm not getting into marriage because that's another territory only. So let's just stick to love. Loyalty, fidelity, trust, these are often talked about in monoamory. But if you ask somebody to define it, it is defined as what
Yeah.
you will not do with another person. So I will not sleep with another person. I will not travel with another person. I will not emotionally care about another. So it is all to do with, the definition is in the negative. It's all to do
That's
with
called
what
control.
you as a person
That's
will
called
not
control.
do with
It's
others.
Mhm.
Yes. And it's so funny. You say
Yeah.
nothing about
And
what you're
it's
going
a
to do
funny
with the
fun.
person that you love.
Yeah, it's a
ये ऊपर आप loyal हो.
situation
हाँ.
because on one hand, uh, we try to control with these definitions, okay, and these chains, and on the other hand, we also celebrate that love is freedom. So love is the biggest freedom that you can experience, and but this is how love is freedom, but these are the chains. So I don't understand this. Like you just talked about trust, for example. You just use the word trust. For me, what cheating would be, or what breaking of trust would be, if I am with a person or many people, and for the simplicity of for the sake of simplicity of argument, just one person, and
Yeah.
that person portrays in front of me to be politically of a certain school of thought, and later on I discover
Yeah.
that that's
Yeah.
not the that's not the case. That for me is breach of
There's
trust.
another. Yeah.
That for me
Yeah.
is cheating. That for me is
Of course.
disloyalty, and that's a
Yeah.
red line.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that for me is the end of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
uh, that's why I asked you, how do you intend to define these things now?
Yeah. Yeah. Sanjay, you're absolutely bang on this. You're absolutely right, because in polyamory, the way we define loyalty, trust, or fidelity is to do with honoring the agreement and conditions between two people
Mhm.
on what you and I agree on. So, for example, if you and I agree on that I'm of a certain political disposition and you're of a certain political disposition,
Mhm.
and that turns out to be a lie,
Yes. Yes.
that's a breach of trust, like you said. On the other hand, if you and I agree on the fact that whenever the staff who work in our house, let's say, whenever they need help, uh, up to a certain amount of money, either of us will help whoever has money. If I don't
Yeah.
live up to
Yeah.
that is a breach of trust, for example. Or even suppose we decide between us that when one of us falls ill, the other will look after. That, if the other person is not doing, that's a breach of trust. So breach of trust, loyalty, fidelity is to do with the promises we make to each other about our relationship and about us. It has nothing
by
to do with
by
what we do
that
with other
definition,
people.
the promises that we
It can't.
make to each other, who is the most dishonest, the highest form of infidel that can be, the most untrustworthy entity in this world? Take a guess. The government.
Who?
Just yeah,
The state.
and yet
Absolutely
we
right.
all succumb to it.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah. We are bonded. We are
So
bonded
I
laborers
just
of
want
the
to ask you
government.
in the
Yeah.
end that
Yeah.
we have had a nice 1 hour long conversation. Uh, when is the next book coming and what is it about?
Yeah. uh, I don't know. Yeah, there are lots of ideas that I've been thinking about, and actually writing this book has also made me realize that a lot of people go through life feeling a certain way, but unable to
Yeah.
come to terms with it. And I have figured that I have a genuine curiosity about those areas of life, whether it is to do with relationships or to do with conditions. So, things like how do you deal with loss? How do you let go? How do you deal with loneliness? There are many, many things. So, let's see. Hopefully, it will be one of these things, but I don't know yet. Right now, I'm
Yeah.
still very immersed in
Well,
this
if
book.
all of you
And
want to get
yeah,
immersed in nice literature on polyamory, this is the book once again, All Our Loves. And ladies and gentlemen, that's Arundhati Ghosh, the author of the book. And thank you, Arundhati, for giving us your time. And I hope.
thank you. Thank you for having me, Sanjay. And thank you for being such an amazing person to talk to. I mean, you
Thank you
had
so much, Arundhati.
just the
Hope to
right
read your next
questions.
book
Thank
very
you.
soon. Thank you.